Hello everybody, hope you guys are doing well. So continuing on our journey with Swift, we will try to cover some UI elements and then basically we will cover everything, all possible UI elements that we have, and then we'll also see uh some data binding and we will go on from there. Just let me check if the stream is up and running because sometimes Twitch does not work. Uh, okay. Yes, our stream is up and running. Okay. And yeah, let's see some elements and then we will see. So little bit introduction. Uh, okay, so don't panic. Swift UI is a massive framework that might completely seem alien at first, but in this guide we'll get a lot. We'll do hands-on to understand how Swift UI is. So if you are already familiar with Swift, then everything you know about UI kit is still useful and will be good for years. Everything as in about Swift hasn't changed, so that's all useful. Everything you know in iOS apps, the look and feel will always be the same. So what does change in Swift UI is yes, Apple introduces us new terms to learn. Once we'll pass the basic, we'll recognize a lot of common ground with UI, so don't panic if you have already proficient in it. So basically, Swift UI is a interface toolkit that lets us design apps in a declarative way. That's a fancy way of saying that we tell Swift UI how we want a user interface to look and work. It figures out how to make those things happen. Declarative UI is best understood in imperative UI, which is what iOS developers doing. Imperative is basically where we might make a function we call when a button was clicked, and inside that function we read the value. Imperative UI causes all sorts of problem, most of the which is revolved around state, which is another fancy meaning of values that we store in our code. We need to track our state in our code. If you have on screen with one boolean property that affects UI, we have two states. The boolean might be on and off. If you have two booleans, now we have four states. Okay, so if you are, and if you have three, then we have lots more complexity, right? So if you have used an app that says you have 100 unread messages, no matter how many times you try to tell, if you have read the damn thing, it's a state problem. That's an imperative UI. So in contrast, declarative UI tells iOS all possible states of an app at once. We might say, okay, so there is one. So before Swift, we there was two things that we were doing, right? So before Swift came in and brought in declarative UI. However, before Swift, what we were doing was everything was imperative in nature, or implied. No, okay. Imperative is basically, I guess, something that is, uh, so basically here you do step by step explanation. So you do step by step. A declarative is basically where uh, so basically are kind of giving a declaration, um, basically directives. Now instead we let Swift UI move between the user interface layouts for us when the state changes. We already told you, but a Swift UI does not stop here. It access cross-platform that works. So it is going to work on cross-platform. So you can design UI on. So there are other OS as well, Mac OS. Then you have tvOS. Then you have Watch. So on and then even Vision OS. So Vision is the latest thing that is added by Apple. So you can design all of these apps using SwiftUI. So when you learn Swift, you can develop it anywhere. Now Swift versus interface builder. So this is how previously we used to do. Now every experienced iOS is interface builder and storyboards and perhaps even XIVs. Now this might they might not like them, but there are few least familiar with them. If you haven't used this before, you should just skip this. So this is like old way of designing. Frequently, is what to learn Swift UI? Should we learn Swift UI? Should we learn UI kit? So previously, UI kit was a preferred way. UI kit or user interface kit. UI kit was the previous or the um so UI kit is basically so we are going to build UI kit was this is present in the OS, right? So you have the in the application side, I mean the user mode, you have this layer already present in there. So this is user level OS. Now SwiftUI is basically built on top of UI kit. So okay, so Swift is wait. So my Swift UI is built on top of UI kit. So it's built on top of UI kit. Now does Swift UI replace UI kit? No, we are not replacing anything. It's already using. It's built on top. So okay. How closely does the code match? When you make any changes, it will update in a generated code. Uh, UI kit is not that. So Apple is moving towards the Swift UI thing. Um, yeah, you can work Swift UI and UI kit both together, so not an issue here. Mm, so this is all basically why we should learn Swift UI, so it's okay. The migration from UI, okay, this is okay. Now let's start with some UI elements, I would say. So first is okay. Yeah, so how are we going to launch is basically whenever you okay, let's open Xcode itself. So let's go to Xcode. I guess that update was completed, right? iOS 18 was some new version was left to be installed. So let's see if that's done. Yeah, so you go create a new project or whenever you go to app, and then the moment it shows you always use SwiftUI as the interface, you can say anything. This can be so let's say this is uh, yeah, so let's start with a new project. So let's go to create. Oh yeah, so it's loading. This is basically the starting thing that we get from SwiftUI. No, okay, uh, so basically views are also structs. We have studied now. If it's a view, then it should have a computed property called as body, and that is going to be return some view. That is nothing but an opaque type. That means the one specific sort of view, but we don't really care which one. We are basically trying to hide the type. Now inside the content view, basically we have the v stack. View is a small amount of okay. So basically we have our v stack. Inside that we have an image, we have a text. Now there's a okay. Then we have called in some modifiers, for example, dot image scale, dot foreground style, and then we have our text. Now you should also see, okay, then this is basically the preview that comes in. Okay, so basically if you are going to do a view, then what need to do is basically we need to, if it's a view, then it should have a computed type body, and then that should, and we are going to hide the returns. Basically we are saying that returns some view, and then this is basically what we are returning. Now you should always see a preview, because now in the event of Xcode preview stops, it will kind of open. You can press option command P will make it, so sometimes it does not work, so you can do option command P. That is really important, so I'm repeating, pressing option command P will make a SwiftUI. So you do option, so you have option command and P, so the moment you do it, it will update our UI. So that is very important that we use these buttons or these keys. So when the preview updates, you will see the equivalent of UK. Now, so we haven't seen the navigation stack yet. Okay, let's go. Okay, so these, okay, let's, instead of working with list, what we can do is, let's have this thing. Okay, so, yeah, first we'll see the navigation style later on. We just saw the introduction, so that's okay. And we'll start working with some images. So how to add images? I guess that is a good thing. So basically, how to draw images using image. So use the image view basically to render the image. This can load images from your bundle. From system icons, from a UI, image and more. But those three will be the most commonly that we use. Now, for example, if you're building using Xcode 15, you can load an image from your bundle and display it. So, for example, okay. So basically, we go to assets, and do we have any asset? No. Let's go to content. Okay. So what you can do is, so basically, when we are talking about image view, let's get rid of this. Let's have an image. Now there are three possibilities that we would be using with image, right? So whenever we are using image, right? Uh, there are three possibilities, right? You can have, basically it could be, either we would load it from, basically it could be from my bundle, it could be from my icons, or it could be from UI image, right? These are three ways where we can load. If I'm building Xcode, later you can load, okay. uh, mm, okay, so let's see. First is basically icon. So icon, you do image, and then there is going to be something called as system name, right? And then you need to just mention. So for example, there is something called as, okay, I guess I was, yeah. So you can just go in and enter, say this is something cloud, and then you do dot heavy. Yeah, you can just autofill it, and then you save it. And then you do command control P. This it work? This is my image view, right? So yeah, expected. Did I? Oh yeah, this struct. Okay, now you do command control P. So it's loading. Basically, this is my image view that has come, and then you can go and say font, and then you can add in some properties to it, so you can make it large. You do command. So basically, the size has increased, right? Now notice how the font model is used to adjust the SF advertisement, like how to adjust the way an image is fitted into its space. Okay, so let's get a random image. Okay, let's go back here. Let's open the. Let's see. Just let's get this image. So you do download and you save image as. You save it. Okay, this is, and then you can just put it in the assets. This is from my bundle itself. They do finish. Let's try to put this in the assets. Oh yeah. So I have this thing in my assets now. Let's delete this from here. Trash. So I have in my assets. Let's go back to content view. Now, okay. Now basically we are going to load a image from the bundle. So you go image, and then you have what's the name? The name is, oh, so that's the name is also images. So just put in a string over here. Then I'm going to do images and then close this. The moment we do this, yeah, it will take some time. So basically the image has come. So now by default, so basically these are going to make, so the entire, these are pull out views. So basically going to view the entire screen. Now if you add resizable, then the image will instead be size. Okay, so now, so then now what I'm going to do is we are going to have resizable. The moment we add this resizable, so it is going to fit the available space. All the available space, either the frame you specify or whatever is available. So basically it's going to fit the entire, and here you have so you can do something called as ignore. Yeah, you can ignore the shift area. So by when we do that, by that what we mean is we are going to entire the occupy the entire image. Okay, so let's go back to our blackboard, maybe, let's say. Yeah, so we saw UI image is so basically icons. This is basically when you go like system name. These are pre-built icons given to us. Now in a bundle, when you go, so basically you're going to load in a image. Now there are certain modifiers or certain methods that will apply. So first is basically resizable. So when you apply resizable, basically take entire space available. Remember, we are talking about the entire space, right? So whatever is the space that we are available on the screen is going to take the entire space. Now it does not care about the aspect ratio or something. We'll see that what happens with the aspect ratio. Okay, so basically, yeah. And then so if I want to change the size, so I'm going to do frame, and then let's give it a height and a width. So if we say this height is like, okay, let's give it some value. So this is 300. So the height has become 300 and the width is still the entire screen, right? Now however, this may also cause, because when we do resizable, as it is going to take, if I get rid of this, so yeah, so this is basically oh yeah, okay, that's correct. Now the moment we because here the image has been stretched, right? So the aspect ratio is going to get the, what do you say, the aspect ratio is going to change. If you want to change the, if you want to keep the aspect ratio as it is, then you should have some parameter called as aspect ratio, and then content mode. So there are two possible, there is fill or fit. So I'm going to do fit. So if I do dot, then I have two things. So fill fit is basically an option that resizes the content so that it's content available so it's all within the available space, both vertically and horizontally. An option that resizes the content so it's all within the available space, both vertically and horizontal. Now fill is an option that resizes the content so it occupies all the available space, both vertically. No, there is something to it. Now either we can use fill or fit, right? Now what does fill and fit do? So it's an option that resizes the image content. So content is the image so that it occupies all the available space. When I go to fit, even this is the an option that resizes the contents. It's all within the available space. Or there is something between fill and fit, right? So we have two things over here. Whenever we want the aspect ratio should not change. So then we have two things. So we have fill and we have fit, right? So fill is basically going to fill it. I guess this is the default thing. So fill is basically resizes so that it occupies all space. So basically we are going to resize, and this is going to occupy entire space vertically and horizontally. Fit is basically going to occupy uh fit is, I mean, we are not going to occupy entire space. Basically we are going to no, that we are going to occupy within the available space. So then we are going to do dot fit so that let's occupy within the available space. So when you do fit, and then so we are maintaining the aspect ratio here even though we are stretching. This is the button, right? Okay, and then now as SwiftUI, okay, how to tile an image? If SwiftUI has to make image, you take a more space and the image was designed to for its behavior to stretch. Okay. However, it doesn't need to be that way. You can also tile the image. So what if you want to repeat the image horizontally, right? Okay. So by default, what SwiftUI is going to do is, if there is an image, then it is going to stretch to occupy the entire space, right? However, it doesn't need to be that way. So instead of having one, we can repeat the images as well. So what we can do is, for that, what we are going to do is, okay, you can do something on resizable, right? So let's go back here, and then so there is okay, there is two three things, right? There is resizing mode. So let's go to okay, I have yeah, this is basically resizing modes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tile it. So when I do a tile, what is going to happen is um should repeat, right? So I'm doing resizing mode dot tile. Now the key is to use resizable with resizing mode parameter. This can either stretch or tile. Tile is being what you, okay, control page in the, okay, yeah. Oh, I didn't apply this in the correct space. Yeah, so now what we can do is we can just do the, oh, see, these are styled, right? So these are two images. One is here and this other is here. Now, if you only want to tile part of the image leading one or more edges fixed to the image views, you can do something called as edge insert. So you can fix the edges over here. So you do, so it's edges is inside. So you do, so there is one more parameter that we can place in. There is something called as cap inserts that we can do here. So let's come here. Let's do cap inserts, and then what we are going to do is, so this is edge inserts, and then let's have, so basically this is also going to take in some parameters, right? So you have top 20, we can add like edges, you can do leading, yeah, basically this is leading, right? And then yeah, basically what I've done is cap instance, and then yeah, there's a syntax error. He says, what's the syntax? Cannot call value of non-function type edge insets. But okay, set insets. Let's see now. Let's have this as, and then what we need to add is we need to add something called as resizing. So you can tile it resizing word, and then you do, yeah, basically you can, yeah, so these two edges are marked on top. Same goes with this. How to render images using SF. So SF symbols again, as I said. Okay, this is, you just need to use the system name parameter inside this. So you come here, you do image. So this is basically my initializer, right? So in that you can pass in a lot of things, and then just pass in the string that we want to pass. So for example, wind dot snow. Okay, and then if you want to increase the size, right? So this is basically like font. You do a font, and then you do dot large. So when you do that, the size has been increased, right? And then the image is okay. Yeah, so there is, and when you fill this, basically a color is going to come. So this is basically okay. So I guess there is no, okay. This is not, this cannot be filled, right? Let's see some other SF symbol we can fill. So let's go to moon dot stars dot fill. Yeah, basically this is filled, right? So it also means you can tint the image using the same foreground style modifier you have already seen. So now foreground style. There is two things, right? One is background and foreground. So why are we going with background here? Why aren't we using okay. Let's come back and see. Okay, let's do foreground versus, why do I say why not use background? Now when you see an image, there's two parts to an image, right? So let's go here and see foreground background. So let's go here, foreground versus background. This is a very common term that I guess I've seen this. Also, basically, whenever you are doing some text, right? Okay, let's see what is the background. I think okay, blah 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 blah. The best part is this: once you understand backgrounds for background, how it works in design, you will be able to see it against a scrapbook layouts, designs, or something else. It will give you a sense of how space works for and against the foreground. Also, got a figure ground. Also, okay, I guess that is basically the. Oh, I guess what I understood what he's trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, so I have two things over here. Let's go back and let's change. Oh yes, let's oh, so basically this is the foreground, right? The element itself. Uh, yeah, this is the foreground. Foreground is inside. and background is basically this backdrop. We have, yeah, so hence in symbol you are going to do foreground and not a background. So color, because that color is going to get applied behind the symbol, we don't want that to happen. There is a SF library as well where you can say, I don't know whether I do right now here. Yeah, there is somewhere SF. Oh yeah, I have it. So let's change this and let's, yeah, so you can download that SF library. Just need to do SF and then you go. This is provided by Mac, right? So you get uh all the SF symbol that you have. Oh, basically you can design your own symbol as well, yeah. Or it didn't go, yeah. Basically, so then you can have everything automated, and you can do on thin line, bold, heavy, however you want. You can, yeah, maps as well. So basically it's, you can, so basically wherever it's available it's shown here. You have this figure walk, and now this is inherently built by Apple design, I guess. So you have math, you have heart as well, so you have clipboard, lots of things. This art, and then what you can do is you can fill this color, and let's say regular. You can make it heavy, light, ultra light, however you want. So you do hard dot fill here, right? Let's change this to hard dot. The moment let's push that here. So this is my hard dot fill, and then what I'm going to do is dark foreground. Let's say let's add in a color, right? So I'm going to do make it blue. Then you can make it red. This is the same that is used, right? Um, for, you can apply a lot of, you can optionally apply foreground to a multicolor. So if it's a multicolor symbol, you can. So basically, how should I do a gradient? For example, if I'm okay, and how to render a gradient? No, no, did I? So I was working with images. Then yeah, how to render a gradient? Gradient is basically something that is going to. So basically, there is. Okay, let's see. Go to text. Now there are different gradients as well. So you can just have this, and then you can do dot linear gradient, I guess. So this is, either you can do a linear gradient, or you can not line limit. I need to have a gradient. So this is linear. This struct is not available. Why? So let's see. So I've applied. Okay, yeah. So basically, it's inside the background, right? So you go in background, and then in this you can have. You can do a start stop point. You can have colors. So basically, this is going to expect an array of colors. Then from where it should start and from where it should end. So let's check this one. Okay, let's choose. Yeah, I need this one, right? So now I need to mention that color array, right? So let's. Okay, so basically when you go here, now this is an array that is going to take in colors. So okay, let's say I'm going to say this is, I have a white and then red. Now my start point. So where should this start? So start can be either from top, anyhow. Like you can mention some coordinates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start it from the top, and then I need this thing to end. Okay, so let's, so my endpoint should be at the bottom or something like that. So you can. So basically, okay, if does this allow me to zoom little? Basically, if you zoom in from start, it's white, and then it's the gradient is coming from up to from from top to bottom. You can add one more color in between. So if I add, so this is basically the middle thing. So in between, let's say let's have blue. So it should be white, blue, and then red. Let's so let's say this is some dark color that can be seen over green. So basically, top is white, then you have green, then you have red. You can add blue as well. So basically, top is first is the white color kicking in, then you have blue, and then you have red. So basically, we are starting from top to bottom, right? Then you can have multiple layer. Either you can. So this is basically linear gradient. Now you basically, if you want to do it from left to right, you can say so. Let start point be from lead. So basically, my leading edge is always on the left, and my trailing is on the right. Basically, this is a text, right? So let's. So okay, what we can do is this is left to right, trailing to leading. Okay. Now then you can have a radial or an angular gradient as an example. So when you do a radial, okay, uh, that top leading is basically what. Let me go back here. I guess what is saying. So if you do, let's open Google, and then when you search like top. So whenever you are in typography, right? This is typography part. Okay. This is going to make it more clear. Uh, yeah, there is. Does it have bot trading as well? Uh, uh, yeah, basically this is how text is written, right? So okay, this is all text that is from left to right. It's from left to right. Then okay, this is makes a little bit more sense. I don't know. Whenever you're using font, right, it makes sense to have these type of things. So let's come back. Let's go back. This is more related to font thing. So whenever you have a font, right? So this serif is basically this thing, how much it's rounded from here. That roundness is what it will define its serif. Or now this is in English we write left to right, right? I mean we start from the left and we go to the right. So this is going to be my leading. This is my trailing, right? So the other end is my, this is my trailing. If you see, this side is trailing. Then this is basically, there is this thing that on the top, that is an ascender. If it's on the bottom, then we, for example, y, right? So this is basically the descender that comes in. Then this is basically in font width, right? This is my top, this is my bottom. This is basically related to image typography and not related to Swift per se. Okay, now let's add some radial gradient. So whenever you add a radial gradient again, so you need to do a radial gradient. So basically you can have stop, then you can have, basically you can give the color array, then where the central point, and then the radius and the end radius. So basically it's going to be in form of circles, right? So now let's see, now okay, let's give this a, okay, let's say, let's have a, remember this is a, what do you say, this is a circular gradient, right? So inside my color I'm going to write my arrays, right? So I can do red, yellow, anything. And then in the center, okay, this is my array. Oh, I'm missing the closure of the array. And then where should be my central? So central point has to start from the center itself. So let that be the center. How much should be the start radius? Then we need to give the start and end, right? So let's give it start say 50, and then let's give this end to be like 60, something like that. Okay, it has to be 50 and 60 values. Okay, the radius hasn't, see, it's not that big, so let's make this let's end this at say 100, a bigger radius. So I have red, yellow, and then I have, so okay, there is one, this is okay, so I have colors. I am given red, yellow. Let's come back here and let's give the something that we are not writing correctly. You come back here and then you mention radial gradient. So you have start, stop, um you have colors, then you have, oh, then you have gradient. We need this thing, gradient and center, but then we need that array as well as to come, right? So basically, okay, yes, they find a circular shape first, and then okay, we need the color gradient to be, so let's do gradient, and then let's have a gradient, and then a center, then a start radius, and then we need to mention in colors as well. Okay, let's in the gradient, so gradient, right? So this has to be my if you see, oh, so this has to be like an, This is my, so basically this is gradient and then colors array, right? So I'm going to mention the array here. This is going to be say red, and then just tap it, and then I have my center at a point which is fixed. So let's go to center. In central, let's add something, say center, and then let's give this a start, and then let's start radius. Let's say it as, say, so this is 50. The end radius is say 100 or something. And so okay, there is a parenthesis that I have missed. Uh, let's apply this to a shape. This is, suppose this is a circle, right? Okay, so basically this is how the, and then inside the fill I'm going to add this thing. Oh, this is not inside background. Okay, this is, yeah, see now it's shaping up. So basically I have the red side, then I have the different color that is going to be increased. Now you can have an angular gradient as well. Instead of having this radial gradient, you can change this to be say, okay, like does it prompt something? I can prompt this as well, and then so this is that gradient. This is filled, right? Oh, there has to be one more. Uh, there's some syntax. I guess some parentheses. This is one. Oh yeah, this has to take the entire thing, right? Why is it showing an error here? This gradient starts here, and then this is for my, okay, I need to have, what's the error? The arguments init gradient declared. Oh, I need to put that angle thing. What is it trying to say? Oh yeah, I need to get rid of this. Yeah, these things is for circular, right? We need to add that angular part. Is what? Yeah, just get rid of this thing. Basically, this is like an angular gradient which we have. If you see this circular, how is this gradient working? If I did the radial, uh, what is this here mentioned? Frame is understood, so or you can think of circular or radial gradients as a when you throw a stone in the pond, right? This is a good example to check. So yeah, this is a hexagon. This is my first. This is the outer, and then one more here. So what we can do is, so the ripple starts at the radius. So I have wait. Mm, is it going to be like 50 from center and then so this is the radius, right? The center point. This is one. This is one. And this is one more distance, right? So if I say start radius, is this for the first color or something? Yeah, so basically when I have that start and end point, that is going to happen. The transition will occur eventually. So I have my start and end radius, right? The start radius is where the gradient starts, and end is the change. So suppose I have two colors, right? Red and blue. So if I mention start as 50 and end as say 100, what is going to happen is, so my first 50, let's assume this is 50, right? So 0 to 50 I'm going to have red. Then when I go, this is going to be, I'll have one more color. I can add in one more color over here. You can then, so let's add a one more color. So let's say this is say dot green. So this is from, oh no, it's not from, okay. So this is this portion from 50 to say this is 100. I have also from 50 to 80, and then I have, so this is my 100, right? So from 50 to 80 I'll have another color, and then from this later on part, it's, this is from 80 to 100, so 80 to 100, this is my third color that comes in. So 0 to 30, 30 to 100, and then beyond 100 is what? So if I have three colors in here, say, so I have three colors over here, right? If I do like three colors, red, yellow, and I say start is basically, start is 0. So at the center I have red. Now when I move, so this is going to, and then I say start is 0 and end is 150. So like the halfway mark is going to be 75, right? So around the halfway mark, I have yellow. So this is basically like around 75 I'll be having yellow. And then when I reach towards 150, I'll be more into orange. Yeah, orange, orange. That's okay. Now for angular gradient, so like angular, this creates a angular gradient, a conic gradient, cycling through various colors, then returning to the beginning. So if I have an auto, you can use them for background. There is something called as angular gradient as well. So we are having, but how is the, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Is it like 360 by 6 or 60, 60, 60, 60? Something like that. This angular gradient divide 360 into, uh, so Swift eventually divides 360 among the colors. So if it's at 0 degrees, I'm going to have red, and then yellow, then, yeah, so basically it's dividing the 360 into 4 colors, right? 0 degrees is basically this line. So from 0, and then how does it go? Like counterclockwise, or does it go? Does it? Yeah, how does it move? Yeah, we are going to go clockwise. Yeah, so the way that is going to work is radial gradient is, let's say this is my circle, right? And then if this is the center, then this is going to, this line is so this is going to be 0 degrees, and then you're going to move clockwise, right? So then you're going to go in this direction. So so this area will be one color, and then you kind of have this into divided into different areas. Now you can have an additional parameters, that is start angle and an end angle. So what does that do is, when you do that start and end, you can use them for background. Okay, this all gradient will conform to shape type protocol. So there is something called as shape type. So this is, there is something called as, so these are going to conform to that. So no, what is this protocol? I guess the shape protocol is often referred to as a shape type, is what you confirm when you want to define a custom shape that can be drawn and used in views. Why do we need? Let me see that later. Okay, because all the three gradient types confirm to you can use them for background fills and strokes. For example, this uses our rainbow conical gradient as a thick. Mm, we don't have that thing, right? Yeah, we did this, I guess. Gradient is done. So tiling is done, rendering I'm working, and then okay. Yeah, that is okay. I guess that is all for this session. Please subscribe, and I'll continue, and then we'll see a little bit more, and then we'll go on from there. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel, and see you guys in the next one. Till that time, we'll start with the shape protocol. What is this, and then we'll understand why do we need it. So that's all for this session. Hope you guys liked it. See you in the next one. Till that time, take care. Bye bye.